Hello everybody, welcome to another beer review. On review tonight is a beer that I've already opened because I've saved you the eternal glory and hilarity of watching me trying to open a bottle that has a cork in it. As you can tell by the two separate pieces of cork that I have in my hand, I am that useless at uncorking bottles. You might guess what it is already. It is a Cantillon beer. This one we're going for today is their Kriek, the 100% Lambic Kriek. It's also bio-organic as well, so I believe that means everything certified from it as being organically produced, which is always quite cool. A nice simple artwork on the bottle as normal, and if you see my other reviews from Cantillon, you'll know that they are darn good at their style at doing the sour beers, at doing lambics. They're out of Brussels, and hopefully one day I'll be able to go visit them. But I really recommend check the website out, and if you do go out the way, go and have a look at the brew house, because just the way they do things with open fermentation and literally big open vats of beer just spontaneously fermenting must be a sight to behold. And I imagine the smell must be quite interesting as well. A quick note as well on this. While we're talking about aroma, I popped the bottle and it just flooded the room with aroma. All you could smell was this beer, and that is most certainly a good thing. So, yeah, it is pretty carbonated. They will be bottle conditioned, these probably, he says. Yeah, it's bottle conditioned, so it's a bit of nice buggy goodness at the bottom of the bottle. It's a splendid, really is a lovely cherry colour. I should explain actually, Krieks are lambics that have been sweetened with cherries. So this one, I think it's got, it says on the back, I think, I want to say morello cherries. Yes, this one's been sweetened with morello cherries, fresh ones. You can get different types of sweetened fruit lambics as well. Framboises, obviously, have got raspberries in, that sort of thing, so there's slightly different ones. Like I said, this one's with cherries. So it has got, you can see it's tinged the beer, that lovely little pink colour. Even the head's got a slight little bit of a twinge of pinkiness to it as well. Cloudy as anything, because there's plenty of sediment in the bottle. There's a lot of yeasty goodness in it, but I don't mind, and that doesn't bother me at all. So let's get a nose on this one. Straight away there is the tart, sour acidity that you come to expect from a lambic, but it's just delightfully sweet as well. You really can smell cherries. It's not as super sick and sweetly as cherry juice. It's kind of restrained and held back, and it's acidic on the nose as well. It's very tart to smell. Yeah, acidic's the best word. I won't want to call it vinegary, because that's a very distinct smell. It's a certain type of acid. It prickles the nose a bit. I don't know how to describe it better than that. It's a little twinge in the nose. You can just smell that it has that spontaneous fermentation, the little lemony, little horse blankety aroma, and that all kind of cascades in with the fresh cherries, just sort of offsetting that. It does smell lovely. It really does smell lovely. If you were to compare this to, if you go to some bars, you'll see that they have things like Fruly or Lindemann's, those sort of beers behind the bar, those sort of fruit beers. How this one differs from those, especially on aroma so far, it's a lot less sweet, it's a lot more balanced. Perhaps we should say the lambic flavours are probably, we shall find out in a minute, maybe they're allowed to come through a bit more rather than the sweet and sweet flavours. So let's give it a try and see what we think. Cheers. Yeah, it's lovely. It really is. I know sour beers are a very particular taste. They are unlike any other beer. They predominantly are acetic. They are sour. There's whatever gunk there is in it. It's all spontaneously fermented, so there's a lot of bacteria producing a lot of stuff. This beer is, like I said before, I was expecting it to be unlike those kind of traditional, very sweetened ones that you see. The sourness is in its entirety is right up there in front of the palate, but it's also extremely well blended. It's not overpowering. It just never reaches that point where you're like, oh, it's like drinking lemon juice. It just seems to be tempered, and in fact, as I mentioned when I always do a sour beer, you just get the sourness dissipates and sweetness fills the mouth again, and it's when that sweetness comes back in that the cherries fill the void, and you get this wonderful sweet cherry flavour all across the palate. You get like a sweetness on the front, the sour still at the back of your tongue, and I'm salivating. That's how it creates an explosion of flavour. Sour beers just create explosion of flavour and a feeling of refreshment straight off the bat. It's also quite a light body to it, but a ton of carbonation. It is bottle conditioned, so it's quite a bit, and it just adds. It almost feels like you're drinking. I won't want to say you're drinking a fizzy, like soft drink, but that sort of sensation on the tongue. Obviously, I don't think they make you could say bitter lemons in the same sort of ilk, but you know, this is an alcoholic bitter cherry, I guess. But that makes it sound far less nice than it actually is. It is absolutely glorious, actually. It really is. It's not. It's not the overpowering sweet mess that you're so used to when you see fruit beers. The sourness just dominates it, but in the best possible way. It's allowed to just flourish. It's not too astringent. It just I don't know how they managed to blend it to stop it being too much for you, but it's just perfectly enough. And then the sweetness comes in, and you can see how it adds an intensity to the palate. This fruity element, the cherries. It's really nice. It's blooming lovely, to say the least. They do say you should drink this one within the year of purchase. I assume because the more you leave it, the more those tart flavours are going to build up and the less the sweet flavours are going to be there. Having said that, I know this bottle was in the bottle shop for a long time. In fact, this one was bottled December 2009, so it has had quite a long time to actually sit and re-ferment, but it still has a complexity and balance to it. Perhaps it's the aging that's done that it's decided to mellow itself out a bit, and maybe it was sweeter when it's first bottled. I don't know, but in its current form, 2009, it's magnificent. It truly is absolutely gorgeous. Just compared to the other ones I've had many different sour beers now, and this one, Rosetta Gambrinus or this. Now that is a question. Do you like raspberries or do you like cherries? Because they're both very similar in that sense. Just one has got more of a cherry flavour, one's got more of a raspberry flavour. But having said that, I've tried it unblended, fresh lambic by Cantillon, and I've also had a few other by them too, and this isn't the strongest in the series, so I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10, but with the caveat that this is the best Kriek I've tried ever, pretty much, and I have tried a few by other well-liked and loved lambic makers too. I've just never had the chance to do it on camera. This is before doing reviews and stuff, so this is definitely the best Kriek I've ever tried, but not the best by Cantillon. So that's like saying, yes, I've had a best bitter by Magic Rock, but you know, I've had Human Cannonball as well. That's a bit of a broad sweeping statement, but there you go. Absolutely delightful beer. Really is nice. If you like sour beers, you're going to love this one. If you don't like sour beers and you haven't really ventured into the world of sours, I would recommend going for a sweetened Faro Lambic, something like that. So it's been sweetened with sugars. I would try and avoid the non-traditional Kriek, so the ones that have been sweetened with cherries and then sweetened with a ton of sugar as well, because all you're going to get is a very sweet, fruity flavour. At least with the Faros, which have just been sweetened with candy sugar, I assume it's candy sugar, you at least get the flavour of the sourness, a straight sour flavour with the sweetness added in, so you can tell what sours are going to be like, rather than just a fruity beer. So there you go, a bit of a rambling review, but this is magnificent. I'm going to sit here and enjoy it very much. And I know I forgot to say the percentage because it just popped into my mind. I'm sure it's 5%. It is indeed 5% alcohol by volume as well, so it drinks super easy for a 5%. Magnificent. Well done, Cantillon. Love it, love it, love it. So until the next beer review, everyone, thank you for watching. Please like, favourite, comment and subscribe. Cheers.